and I'd like to introduce Missy Beegler with the youth camp presentation. Missy?
Hi, I'm Missy Beegler. I have been with Powder River for 7.5 years, and I've been able to take the youth camp kids to a leadership camp in Steamboat, Colorado for the last, I've taken them about 4 times, and I've taken kids to camps all over the world, and this is one of the best camps I've ever been to, where it just seems like the kids' lives are changed when they come home. And I have 2 girls. I took 4 this year. 2 of the girls are going to talk to you a little bit about camp, what they did there, how it impacted their lives. And we have Olivia Croft and we have Courtney Johnson. We are first going to have Olivia Croft.
Hi, everyone. Like she said, I'm Olivia Croft. I'm the daughter of Mike Easley. And more importantly, I was one of the 4 girls who was blessed enough to go to the summer leadership camp this summer. I can't really even begin to sum up what the experience was like in the short time I've been given, but I'm going to try my best to give you a taste of what CYLC was like. Before that, I would like to give you my sincerest thanks to the co-op for giving me this incredible opportunity, as well as the 3 other girls that were with me. I would not have been able to do it without you, and I appreciate it more than you know. So I'm just going to start on the first day of camp. When we first got there, I'm not going to lie, I was a little intimidated. I like to think of myself as a bit of a people person. I make friends pretty easily, but you know, it's kind of intimidating. You roll up into camp, and I had just spent, what was it, like 8 hours in the car with 3 girls and a lady I'd kind of met before, Missy. And I don't know, you guys probably know, being in a car with a bunch of girls for that long, I was planning on getting a little bit of sleep, but let's be honest, you put 5 women in a car for several hours, it's a lot of talking. Just to kind of get this out there, the time we spent in the car was probably one of my favorite experiences of camp. Just being able to connect with Missy. She was so understanding and so kind about everything. She really helped make the experience a good one. But so we come into camp, and there are cabins everywhere. It is absolutely gorgeous. It's on the outskirts of Steamboat Springs, so you're nestled in the center of the Rockies. There was a river. Every morning we'd meet in this glen. We all stayed in cabins. There were like 3 or 4 girls per cabin. And when I first got to my cabin, fun little story, we all noticed this really strange smell. And we couldn't figure out what it was. We were like looking through our bags, we're like, what is that smell? About 5 minutes later, we found a dead mouse in our closet. Yeah, you take 3 girls and a dead mouse, there's a lot of screaming. And that's a good way to make friends, having a mouse funeral within your first 10 minutes of getting to camp. A lot of people asked what we were doing because we were digging a small hole with some spoons that we found. So yeah, found a mouse in our closet. We also, when we first got to camp, we all kind of mingled and we got to know a bunch of the kids. There were people from Oklahoma, Kansas, Colorado, and Wyoming. So you have kids from all different walks of life, but we are all from co-ops, so we're all pretty rural kids. So we have that to connect on. But we all just kind of met each other and mingled, and so that was fun. We separated into groups. I was in group 4. And you kind of just meet with your group. You do icebreaker games. You get to know each other. I became so close over the week that I had. I became so very close with my group. We also elected board members, 1 from each group, similar to a co-op. It was just kind of more like a nomination type deal. We also elected a general manager. With my dad being the CEO, I'm going to be totally honest, I had no clue what he does. So that kind of gave me a glimpse into what he does for a career and what kind of provides for my way of life, and that was really quite interesting. We also broke into committees for the different activities during camp. I was on the dance committee, so basically our job was to plan the dance, get music for the dance, Also, when the dance actually happened, we were the ones who kind of brought the kids on the outside. We brought them in, we danced with them, we had a really good time. The second day at camp, okay, before that, I am not a very outdoorsy type of gal. I like air conditioning, I like the indoors. And let me tell you, the mosquitoes there were ravenous, okay? I have never seen so many mosquitoes in my life. They would just come at you in like swarms, and especially at night, like if you had your phone and you were like sitting on your phone, they would just swarm your phone and vicariously your face. So, I mean, I had a great time at camp, but the mosquitoes, also, it took me probably about a week to scrub the inch worth of mosquito spray off of me. I've never been more relieved to take a shower in my life. Our second day, we did a legislative simulation. Our groups would break up, and we would each be a senator, and we would be given all these different situations and scenarios, and then those, after we made the decisions, they would be put into a computer to kind of calculate what our constituents were saying about us and what our fellow senators were saying about us. And I don't know about Courtney, but I did not realize how hard it is to please everyone. Especially when you're a senator. It gave me a look into the life of some of our decision makers, and definitely opened my eyes a little bit. We also went into downtown Steamboat, and if you haven't been to Steamboat, you should definitely go. It is a very beautiful place. Downtown is absolutely gorgeous. Spent a little bit more money than I probably should have, but it's a good time. We also went to Fish Creek Falls, which is this absolutely beautiful, beautiful waterfall. A lot of the girls were, boys and girls go and see the outdoors very differently. All the girls were sitting on the rocks, taking pictures. The boys were literally swimming in the creek. Like we were all told, don't get in the creek. They were covered from head to toe in water. So that kind of sums up that day. The third day, we went rafting. Now, that was very interesting. Boys were pulling each other off rafts. I don't know if you guys saw how big Missy is, but she can be ferocious with a water gun, let me tell you something. The advisors were throwing buckets of water into our raft. It was crazy. It was so fun. After that, we had our dance. So being on the dance committee, it kind of gave us an opportunity to show all the other committees what we had done. And it was absolutely, absolutely so fun. And it had been raining a little bit that day, but we were inside a tent, so it was okay. And at most dances, and most high school dances are in a gym, so they get really hot and stuffy, but this one was kind of in a tent in the outside, so it was really nice. Our fourth day, we had a speaker from HawkQuest, and so they taught us about what the co-ops are kind of doing to protect the large predatory birds. We got to see a bald eagle. We got to see there were hawks flying all over our heads. It was absolutely incredible. We also built an electric system. So it started at the coal. We started with coal, and then out of crafting supplies, we built this pretty much a diorama of how power is made. I was not so. I knew I could flip on a light and there's electricity, but there's so much more that goes into it that I was able to learn just from that exercise. We also had a barbecue that night, but just like a co-op, we had capital credits because we paid to get into the co-op, and the entire week at CYLC, I have never seen more bacon in my life. I'm not kidding. We had pounds and pounds of bacon. I'm pretty sure we kept the pork industry going with 1 week of camp. We would have bacon parties. So basically it was like a BYOB, bring your own bacon. The boys would fire up grills and everybody would just bring bacon. So for our capital credits, we ran out of bacon about halfway through the week, probably like 60 pounds of bacon. And so for our capital credits, we bought more bacon to put on burgers at our barbecue. We also had a volleyball tournament. My group did not do so hot, but there were also lots of very tall guys at camp, so they're throwing the ball over the net. It was really fun. The next day, we also had a talent show that night. It's kind of humbling because you see kids and they're from communities just like yours, small communities, but they are so talented. One of our own girls, her name's Clover Roden. She's from Upton. I have known her through lifeguard training. I've known her for the past few years, but I did not know how beautiful of a singer she was. So it kind of just, it opened your eyes to some of the talents of other kids at camp and just kind of let you see what they bring to the table. So it was really refreshing. On our 5th day, it was the day I looked forward to the most. We went to the Craig Power Plant. So we kind of got to see just how exactly power is made and how it is distributed. And it was really refreshing because being me, I just kind of, I take for granted just having electricity, and especially being in Wyoming and being in a co-op, it being so inexpensive and being so constant. And it kind of just opened my eyes to where it comes from. We also went to the to Trapper Mine, so we really got to see where all the coal that fires the plant, where it comes from. That night we had a banquet, and it was so great to sit down and use real silverware. I was really excited about that. We also had our ambassador ceremony, and one of the girls, she is going to be speaking next, Courtney. She ran for an ambassador, and it's really quite an amazing experience because they get up in front of everyone at camp and put themselves out there, and it's really awesome to just see your fellow campers just having so much passion and wanting to return to camp, and she'll tell you a little bit more about the ambassador program. We also had a surprise dance at the end, so the dance committee wasn't really in charge of that, but we of course helped with that as well. And that was pretty much our last day at camp. The last day was pretty much our goodbyes. We woke up pretty early and said goodbye, and I know for certain that I've made some friends at CYLC that I will have for the rest of my life. There were some truly amazing kids there, and they were kids just like me, and it was really amazing. It's really hard to say goodbye to kids from Oklahoma and Kansas that sometimes, you might never see them again. So it was kind of hard being that spaced out, but it definitely was a very good experience meeting them from so far away. So yeah, we said our goodbyes, and that was the end of camp. Missy drove us home. It was great. Before I close, I would just like to speak a second about Missy. She is one of the warmest and kindest people I have ever met in my whole life. And about probably a week ago, because she asked me to speak here, she came and visited me in Sundance, and she drove all the way from Gillette. And just having her as such a powerful woman and a strong presence in the co-op, it opened my eyes to all that a woman can be, and I am so thankful to have her in my life, and she does an amazing job with all the kids that she took. And can I get a round of applause for Missy, please? So I would just like to say thank you again, and I know that my experience is something I'll never forget, as well as the knowledge that I've gained about the cooperative system. Thank you so much.
Hello, I'm Courtney Johnson, as Olivia just introduced. But from what I heard, I am the first Powder River ambassador since we've had the Cooperative Youth Leadership Camp. So I'll just tell you guys a little bit about that in case you don't know. When we first get there, the first thing they do is they kind of let you get settled in, and then you come and meet at the Glen, which is like the little tent Olivia was talking about. And they sort you up into your groups, and you decide if you want to run and be part of the board of directors, which has like the president and the vice and the secretary and all that, or you could be the general manager. And the general manager just stands up in front of everybody in the Glen and tells them what their agenda is for the day and what they're going to be doing. And so you could either run for general manager or for the board of directors. Well, I thought, go big or go home. Might as well go out there, do the interview they ask. So we go in there, and I do my interview, and I'm nervous, I'm shaking, and I just really, really wanted it. But unfortunately, another young girl got it, and she did a great job. She did an excellent job. So after that, I was kind of like, well, maybe not go big or go home. So later on in the week, I was doing the daily agenda, doing the tours and all the great things we got to see and learning about the cooperative program. And so we were pretty busy, and we came back one day from the Glen and we were excused to our cabins, and one of this year's ambassadors was talking to me about maybe doing an interview and doing the speeches for an ambassador. And I was kind of like, well, I don't know, because I was a little reluctant after not being able to be general manager. But, she's like, I'd do it. It's lots of fun. It's something you could write on your college application. And so I was kind of toying with the idea anyway. And so I figured, why not? And so the next day, I turned in my application for ambassador along with my friend Drew. Her and I were kind of in it together. She's probably the greatest thing, and I think we'll have a friendship for a lifetime. And so we turned in our applications, and at first you do a 30-second speech in front of everyone. So I did my 30-second speech, and then I won that, and I went on to the finals to do my 2-minute speech. Well, my friend Drew and I, we were also cabin mates, so we were up till 1 in the morning, making sure our speeches were good and thinking of campaign ideas. And so we didn't really have a whole lot of materials, so we just took our papers that we had in our cabins and we pinned them to sticks and stuck them in the ground and put rocks around them, vote for Drew and Courtney. And so that was a lot of fun. And then one of the last days of camp, we had our banquet, and that's where we spoke our 2-minute speeches, just kind of for our last hurrah to try and see if we could come back to the camp we love and the place we love. So, I was really nervous, and that night we had our ambassador ceremonies, and I became ambassador, and that I just was blown away by that. And so we got to celebrate with a dance and everything. But becoming an ambassador really made me think about a couple of things, like what my ambassadors did for me and what I wanted to do as an ambassador for other students, or other campers, But as an ambassador, they were very welcoming. They made you feel at home. They were willing to do anything for you to make you feel more comfortable if you needed to, and they're really encouraging. And like I said, one of my ambassadors, Leah, she's the whole reason I ran for ambassador anyway. So I just have so much thanks for them, and I want people to be able to say that about me as an ambassador. So I just want to be able to be everything as an ambassador for them as they were for me. So, but most of all, I want to show them how to step out of the box like my ambassador did for me. But if I have any advice for kids who want to go to the Cooperative Youth Leadership Camp, it would be to take advantage of every opportunity you have presented to you there. Go out and go talk to people and meet new people and just take every opportunity to do an interview or speak in front of people that you can, because all the practice you can get then is good for the future. And you never know how far you might take yourself if you just decide to do it. So once again, after I failed so badly for general manager, I just was kind of reluctant, and I just want people to know to just persevere through your trials. Just make it be your motivation and ambition to work harder in the future. But I would like to give a huge thank you to my friends, my ambassadors, and everyone who welcomed me there and helped me to become an ambassador. And a huge thanks to the Pre-Corp people who selected me to attend the Cooperative Youth Leadership Camp. I can never thank you enough for bringing me to where I am today, because if it wasn't for you guys, I would not be here. Thank you.
As you can see, we have wonderful kids in our community. Again, like Courtney said, if there's kids or grandkids that you have 16 to 18, we usually in February start having the application process. Have them call Pre-Corp, have them call me if they have any questions. it's a great camp, and they can learn a lot from it.